18 News.
Flash flooding has caused many eastern Kentuckians to evacuate their homes, and now communities in the region are under a state of emergency. We have crews in different areas bringing you the very latest on conditions right now. This is LEX 18 News at noon, and it starts now. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Dia Davidson.
I'm Chris Goodman, and we do have some new information on the flooding in eastern Kentucky. Perry County Sheriff Joe Engel tells NBC News at least one person is dead and that the woman who has died is his great aunt, and he warns there could be more victims.
Also, Governor Andy Beshear has declared a state of emergency for the following counties. It's Floyd, Breathitt, Clay, Owsley, Letcher, and Pike.
And we begin in Breathitt County, where Lexington fire crews arrived to help people trapped in a school there.
Yeah, the team arrived in Lost Creek just a few minutes ago to aid and rescue at Riverside Christian School. Our LEX 18 team is there and discovered 5 people have gotten out, but 14 others are still trapped in the school. Rescue crews are trying to get them out by using a small boat. Campbellsville Fire and Rescue are also on their way to eastern Kentucky to help with rescue efforts. We're going to continue to follow this story and others for you throughout the day.
And we have been in Breathitt County all morning as families have been evacuating their homes following the widespread flooding.
That's where LEX 18's Evan Leake has been there all morning. He brings us the very latest and begins our Storm Tracker team coverage.
A lot of activity still in Breathitt County today after flooding coming in overnight. Over my right shoulder here, you see roads closed off heading toward Hazard, where even more flooding has been seen since the early hours of the morning. And even right here, we see that these buildings have gone into the water, nearly completely submerged. You see the points of a roof still sticking out. We've actually seen that building move off its foundation through all of this water. And the house here, much more visible, but we did see people evacuate. An active water rescue, one of many that have happened through this area between Breathitt County, Perry County, and as you can see, plenty of water. Pieces of car even coming off here in the parking lot of Go Time. So much going on still, as so many houses underwater, so many people forced from those homes, trying to pick up the pieces, check in on family, make sure everybody in their circle is okay as the rain continues to fall, as this ongoing situation stays ongoing. Right now in Breathitt County, I'm Evan Leake for LEX 18 News.
And this morning, the governor addressed how the state is responding to the now deadly flooding in eastern Kentucky, and is expected to give another update in about 1/2 hour from right now.
LEX 18's Carolina Bucheck is in Frankfort with the latest on how emergency crews are helping with rescues and cleanup. Carolina.
Yeah, at the National Guard Center here in Frankfort, the Emergency Operations Center has officially been activated. That is where Governor Andy Beshear and state emergency leaders are closely watching this flooding situation develop in eastern Kentucky. The governor has made it very clear that this situation is one of the worst flooding events in Kentucky's history. He has even issued a state of emergency for several of those counties in that area. Resources have already been deployed, and everything is being closely watched because the governor believes the worst may not be over yet. He says rescue efforts are underway. They know that people are on roofs waiting for help. And unfortunately, the governor says, in addition to significant damage, they're expecting loss of life. There are people currently unaccounted for. He says this is going to be a bad situation for the eastern part of the state.
Sadly, we believe that we will lose Kentuckians, and a lot of Kentuckians will probably lose most of what they have.
The governor says this is a dynamic, changing situation, so he is expected to give another update shortly. We will bring that to you right here on LEX 18 News. For now, in Frankfort, Carolina Bucheck, LEX 18 News.
A number of counties received more than 1/2 foot of rain in just a matter of hours.
And you know what, Chris? That's what led to the devastating flooding. Storm Tracker meteorologist Tom Ackerman joins us now with a look at some of the storm totals. Tom?
Yeah, we'll talk about those coming up. The 3-day total's impressive as well, because remember, this has been ongoing this week. It wasn't just overnight, but of course the culmination of a lot of it was overnight with that torrential rain setup that we had. Nice to be able to report at least a ray of hope as far as your forecast goes. Things have calmed down. Now, it's overcast here. You saw with Evan when he was reporting out live that some of those showers were still falling. If we pop you off into southeastern Kentucky, down around Hindman, Whitesburg, some of the harder hit areas, areas from overnight. There's still some rain falling, but this is light to, at times, moderate rain, more of a nuisance than anything else. But when you're dealing with flooding like that, the last thing you want to see is any additional rain. So it's at least good to see that over southeastern counties, you can see over the past few hours that rain winding down. So a lot of the early to mid-afternoon should stay fairly quiet. We'll keep a low-end chance for some scattered showers and thunder showers in there. But you can see back to the west on the max track, there isn't a whole lot showing up. If we take you out into the future with the LEX 18 Storm Tracker Future Track, though, we'll illustrate why this has been a problem this week. We're in this stagnant pattern. So you get these breaks, but there's the possibility, in addition to that hit or miss shower or thunder shower coverage into the afternoon, that we could have another round or potentially more rounds coming in late tonight, overnight, and into tomorrow morning. First wave may bypass us to the north, which is fine, but we could have additional rounds that could impact our southeastern counties, some of those harder hit areas from early this morning. It's in the upper 70s now. Our active weather continues. Rounds of showers and storms still inbound, primarily Thursday night into Friday. Now, there is an end in sight, at least a brief end. There'll be a cold front sweeping in that'll end the torrential rain threat, and we could even catch a brief weekend break. We'll recap those rainfall totals and run down a number of other items in your complete storm tracker forecast.
All right, Tom, thanks so very much. We are also keeping a close eye on power outages in the state. This is the latest look at the outages across the Commonwealth, courtesy of poweroutage.us. Knott County has been hit the hardest, with more than 4,000 people without power. Perry County has more than 4,000 outages, as well as Letcher County. We're going to continue to keep an eye on this map for you throughout the day.
And when strong storms roll through, count on LEX 18 to give you the latest on the free LEX 18 Storm Tracker weather app. Coming up, we have the latest on a deadly shooting in Lexington.
Yeah, but first, we'll have your complete Storm Tracker forecast with Tom. And for our lottery players, the Kentucky Mega Millions jackpot amount is $1.025 billion. Kentucky Powerball jackpot amount, $170 million. We're back after this break.
Recycle right, Central Kentucky. Put aluminum and steel cans, plastic bottles and jugs, and glass bottles and jars in your curbside recycle bin. Disposable baking trays, aluminum foil, and solo cups belong in the trash. Visit lexingtonky.gov/recycle for more info.
Blue calls tails.
See if your luck is on a roll with these exciting new scratch-off games from the Kentucky Lottery. Now at your nearest Kentucky Lottery retailer.
Hit a grand slam at Don Franklin Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. During the Make This the Summer event, get 0% for 36 months on select 2022 Jeep models. Or drive away in the all-new 22 Ram 1500 as low as $39,850. Don Franklin Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, Kentucky's #1 Ram dealer.
When you're in an auto accident with family, it is much more intense in the emotional feelings that you deal with. And I knew I needed someone there for me. When I called Kaufman and Stigger, I immediately felt a sense of trust. I felt like they were giving me advice as if I were calling up someone in my family. It hits home in the heart when your family's in that accident with you. And Kaufman and Stigger was there for us and there for my family.
P-Rat's warehouses are full to bursting. Over $1 million of name brand home furnishings must be liquidated. Prices will be reduced to operating cost only. Our net profits will be non-existent. Get up to 3 years interest-free. And an extra discount up to 3 times the state sales tax. Price drop. Lane closeout sectional. $9.99 doorbuster. Save $200. Save $631 on an in-stock Samsung 4-piece kitchen package. $29.99 after rebate. Nobody beats P-Rats.
We're not just massage envy. We're also facials that get your skin glowing envy. We're talking, dang girl, you look good kind of envy.
All right, tell me your secret and lunch is on me.
How does she do it envy?
So what's going on with this?
That's because a regular massage envy facial routine is an amazing way to look and feel better. For that, I still got it going on kind of a feeling.
Must be good genes.
Through August 14th, try your first facial and get a free enhancement plus 20% off select skincare products. Terms apply. Massage envy facials, where better begins.
Lexington Overstock Warehouse. Open this weekend only for our big summer clearance sale. Get incredible deals. Queen size plush mattress only $250. Hurry in this weekend before they're gone. Lexington Overstock Warehouse. Low overhead. Really low prices.
Recycle right, Central Kentucky. Never put garden hoses in your curbside recycle bin. They harm equipment at the recycle center. Instead, put them in the trash. Find a complete list of items that can be recycled in your curbside bin at lexingtonky.gov/recycle.
The Kentucky Lottery, providing over $4 billion in grants and scholarships.
Well, this morning we were able to get a look at a flood-damaged school in Perry County. This after seeing some devastating images of the same building last night.
LEX 18's Austin Pollock has a look at the damage there.
We can see some of the damage from the Buckhorn School behind me. The cement, the pavement ripped in the parking lot. Plenty of debris in that parking lot as well. And this school sits just right next to a creek. And that's pretty much all you can hear in this area. You can hear some of the traffic still coming by, but really you're still hearing that rush of the water from the creek that's right next to this school. We'll show you some of the video right now. You see how quickly that water is still moving. Trees, branches, just debris hanging on. This utility pole also just barely hanging on. Now let's take a look at the school. I'm not able to show photos of what it looked like overnight just because we haven't received permission to use those on air yet, but I can tell you from what I've seen, the water goes up to the window. And at around 10:45, I tried to leave the Buckhorn area to go southeast toward Hazard. It's about 28, 29, 30 miles from here. Now, in one direction, there were mudslides. I saw at least probably half a dozen mudslides, some as bad as blocking one whole direction of traffic. Now, another thing that I saw as well was probably about half a dozen dogs that appear to be lost and trying to find their way back home. In Perry County, Austin Pollock, LEX 18 News.
Yeah, and it's just amazing and devastating at the same time to see the power that floodwater can have. And that heavy rain set up overnight and early this morning, and it is gone. But the effect obviously lingering. This is what it looks like here in Lexington. Overcast, and there isn't a whole lot in the way of rain. But south and east, we've still got a few showers hanging on in those affected areas. Now, the good news is the active flash flood warnings from earlier this morning, those are all gone. But we do have a flood watch that's still out. Now, it's been dropped here. I wouldn't be surprised to see it pop back up again later on today, or I should say tonight and tomorrow. But we've got this active flood watch into our eastern counties. And just stepping out of the frame here, you can see that bullseye, that pink reddish bullseye here. I'm having some issues with my clicker. I'm going to go hit the space bar here. That shows where some of the heaviest rain has been. And it's in that bullseye from northern Clay County going over to eastern Kentucky. And these are the actual numbers. Now, this is 24-hour rainfall totals. We've had anywhere between 7 to 10 inches of rain estimated. But if you look at the overall numbers here, Breathitt County, now this spans out over 3 days, has had 9.5 inches of rain. So just an incredible deluge into our southeastern counties. And you got to remember, with flash flooding, it's a cumulative effect. You build up these numbers day by day, and all of that water eventually has to go somewhere. So we've also got river flood warnings that we're dealing with here. The North and South Fork of the Kentucky and the Kentucky River, all with active river flood warnings. And these are going to continue for more than likely some days here. If we look at the current river levels in the forecast, it's interesting, the North Fork of the Kentucky River at Whitesburg, that is the one that's experiencing major flooding right now. The current level, 20.91 inches. It's already blown past the expected crest, so we're waiting for an updated forecast for that. We've got moderate flooding, the North Fork of the Kentucky River in Jackson, minor flooding at Heidelberg, and near flood stage of the South Fork. And on top of everything else, so my clicker's cooperating again. I can come back over. On top of everything else, we've got these power outages that you've heard about. Check it out. Down towards Hindman, one of the areas hardest hit, parts of Knott County, and then over into Letcher County. There are 5,500 to 6,000 people. This is, of course, per county, the numbers that are without power. So this is an ongoing situation with the impact here, not only with, of course, the flash flooding, meteorologically related. You've got power outages. You've got damage to structures. So nice to see this. The LEX 18 Storm Tracker Future Track shows that there's very limited chances for much in the way of coverage today. Now, that could change overnight. You'll see into our western counties an uptick in coverage, and this is why we're not out of the woods yet. The possibilities there for a round of showers, thunder showers across northern Kentucky, and then potentially even another wave coming in throughout the overnight hours tomorrow morning. And the last thing we want to see is that area just got hit with that just devastating flooding to have additional potential for heavy rain. Hopefully it'll be progressive enough, move enough, and not hang over the same area, train those runs of showers and storms over the same area like we saw overnight. And set us up for more devastation like that. But it's something we will, of course, closely monitor. And if you live in these areas, you got to stay weather aware because we do have that added potential for more showers, thunder showers on the way. Now, notice into Saturday, we finally start to see things looking like they're clearing out. There's a reason for that. There's a cold front dropping south and east and out of here, and I'm hoping to at least get one day off Saturday before we see another chance for rain ramping up late in the weekend. 77 degrees now. It is going to be a relatively quiet afternoon out there. We'll keep a low-end chance for a few showers, thunder showers in primarily eastern counties. There could be a few hanging around, but overnight and into tomorrow, I do expect at some point to see an additional wave or two coming through. We've got a cold front that'll finally drop south. So here's the day off that I was talking about. Highs Saturday around 80. A nice quiet day. We could see another wave of showers and thunder showers, guys, though, late in the weekend, early next week.
Alrighty, Tom, thanks so much. We now know the name of the man killed in a recent shooting in Lexington. Police are now asking for your help to find the shooter.
The Fayette County coroner confirmed the victim, 34-year-old Kendall Berry. Officers were called to Victoria Way, not far from Man of War and Nicholasville Road, shortly before 8 last night. When they arrived, they found Berry with gunshot wounds. He was taken to the hospital where he later died from his injuries. So far, police do not have any additional information about a possible suspect. They are asking people in the area to check their surveillance cameras to see if anyone was able to capture the crime in action. And this morning, about 1:30 on Trent Boulevard, police responded to another shooting. That is not far from Tates Creek Road at Man of War. They found a man with non-life-threatening gunshot wounds. A second man was found shot nearby. His injury also not life-threatening. Both have been taken to the hospital. There is no suspect information right now.
A woman charged in a Lexington crash that killed a child is scheduled to be sentenced later today. Sequoia Collins could face up to 15 years in prison. Police say Collins was drunk and driving more than 80 miles an hour when she ran a red light on Tates Creek Road in Lexington. That's when police say she hit another vehicle, killing 10-year-old Alexia Gomez Henderson. This happened in 2019. Sequoia Collins is due in Fayette Circuit Court this afternoon.
Well, the clock is ticking in Odessa, Ukraine, to slow a global food crisis after a Russian strike on a key grain exporting port over the weekend. Morgan Chesky has the latest from there.
It has been a very active 24 hours here as Ukrainian military has attempted to regain some of that Russian-occupied territory. Overnight missile strikes just outside the nation's capital of Kyiv reinforced a very dangerous reality, and that is that the threat remains even if you are far from the front lines. Meanwhile, in the hotly contested Donetsk region, Russian missile strikes leveled a hotel, killing at least 3 people. Firefighters desperately trying to rescue anyone they could buried in the rubble. And we do know some progress has been made on behalf of the Ukrainian military outside of Kharkiv, where Russian-occupied areas were seen being patrolled by Ukrainian soldiers. In the meantime, here in Odessa, all eyes go to this area's most valuable export, and that is grain. There are currently ships in this harbor carrying millions of tons of it with no place to go. Especially concerning is the fact that there was a Russian strike on this port city over the weekend. And while Ukrainian officials have said they hope to expedite shipping to nearby Istanbul sooner than later, there is still no firm date on when the first ship will leave port, leaving countries all over the world wondering how much longer they'll have to wait for desperately needed food. And here in Odessa, while it may be a beautiful sunny day, the curfew is still highly enforced at nightfall to keep these residents as safe as possible. Morgan Chesky, NBC News, Odessa, Ukraine.
In Alaska, 4 children are dead after a teen shoots his 3 siblings before turning the gun on himself.
Police got reports of gunfire at a home in Fairbanks on Tuesday evening. When they arrived, they found the 4 children dead from apparent gunshot wounds. They believe a 15-year-old shot 3 of his siblings before turning the gun and shooting himself. Police say 3 other children in the home were not hurt, and the parents were not home at the time of the shooting. 4 people killed, 6 others injured following a head-on crash in Rio Vista, California. This is in the San Francisco Bay Area. According to police, the crash happened shortly after 8 last night. It involved an SUV and a passenger car. A family of 7 returning from vacation in Mexico were involved in this. 3 people were inside the car at the time of the crash, and all 6 people were taken to the hospital. Police say they found a significant number of alcoholic beverage containers at the crash site. It's still not clear which vehicle was carrying those items. systems. Police say this stretch of Highway 12 is notorious for accidents.
And more news coming up. JetBlue is purchasing Spirit Airlines. We're going to have more on the airline deal.
Plus, hear why now is a really good time to travel, especially to Europe. LEX 18 News at noon continues after the break.
America, home of the free. Free is our favorite word.
2 treadmills.
Like buy one, get one free. We get it.
We're not doing that.
I'm just saying,
You're
this
going to pack these up.
It's the best decision of my life.
That's why at Morgan & Morgan, our fee is free. That means you don't pay anything unless we win your case. Injured? Call Morgan & Morgan.
Let's go!
ForThePeople.com.
Well, summer is in full swing, which has a lot of people thinking about projects around the house. Hey, everybody, I'm with Kirsten from West Shore Home to talk shower and bath remodeling and how homeowners across America can start their project now and save big on shower replacement.
So, Joe, we know a lot of people want to get their bath or shower project started, but they're not sure if now is the right time to do it.
Yeah, that's understandable. Money might be tight. There are other bills to worry about. But, Kirsten, for somebody who wants to start that project right now, what's West Shore doing to help?
So right now we're offering our most flexible option for homeowners this year. For anyone who calls in right now, we're offering 2 full years of no payments and no interest financing. This is the most flexible option for homeowners looking to start their project.
So you're saying people can get their new shower bath installed right now and not have to worry about making any payments or paying any interest until 2024. That's really helpful.
It really is. People love this because it gives them the option to pay on their own terms for the next 2 years. We're trying to make it as easy as possible for people to get the project they want done right now. So let's go ahead and look at some projects we've done right here in the local area. We're seeing a lot of projects like this one right now. People want to get rid of their old bathtub and replace it with an easy, low-step walk-in shower. It's not only going to refresh your bathroom space, but it makes bathing safer and more accessible too.
Wow, that project doesn't just look amazing. The grab bars and the low step is going to make showering so much easier too. Can we see another one?
Absolutely. So let's take a look at this project. We replaced their old shower with something brand new and modern. And the best part, they don't need to make any payments or pay any interest for up to 2 full years.
Amazing deal. Kirsten, thanks. Folks, call West Shore Home now to take advantage of this limited time offer. It's 24 months of no payments and no interest financing. And if you call in now, you can get 50% off the cost of installation. Call the shower and bath experts at West Shore Home now.
For 11 years, I have trusted Bryant for my home comfort. That's why this time of year, I get routine checkups. Knowing that my air conditioner is going to perform its best in the worst conditions is total peace of mind.
Schedule your preventative maintenance, just $80.
Routine checkups not only keep your system running efficiently, it can also prolong its life. A trusted family-owned business since 1940. They've always been here for me.
The Big Blue Nation's official station is LEX 18. You're watching LEX 18 News at noon.
The second quarter GDP report is out, and it shows another decline.
The gross domestic product, which measures the economy along with the production of goods and services, fell 0.9%. That is according to the Bureau of Economic Analysis. The newly released numbers follow a 1.6% decline in the first quarter. This is the second straight negative GDP report from April to June and could signal that a U.S. recession is looming. But a strong labor market could prevent an official declaration of a recession. Analysts say it could be months before the National Bureau of Economic Research makes a judgment on whether the U.S. is in a recession. JetBlue Airways announced a deal today to buy Spirit Airlines.
If approved by U.S. regulators, the merger of the 2 largest ultra-low-cost carriers in the United States would create America's 5th largest airline. The announcement comes a day after Spirit rejected a deal to merge with Frontier. JetBlue had been looking at a hostile bid for Spirit, as Spirit was reaching out for shareholder approval for a lower price deal with Frontier. Spirit continually expressed concern as to whether regulators would approve a JetBlue deal, but shareholders rejected Frontier's less valuable cash and stock offer and green-lighted JetBlue's all-cash offer. Now's the time to travel to Europe. One of the main reasons the U.S. dollar is about equal in value to the euro.
Hannah McDonald shows us how to take advantage of this and get the best bang for your buck in your LEX 18 Consumer Watch.
We could do a couple nights in Barcelona upon arrival, and obviously it's along the water.
The average several nights stay in Spain is costing Americans less than before the pandemic.
That sounds pretty good.
The same goes for other European countries like France and Italy. A big reason the U.S. dollar is getting international travelers more.
I think that is like a nice icing on the cake.
Lee Robinson at Belmead Vacation says they're very busy. People have delayed trips abroad, and now the euro is the weakest it's been in 2 decades.
It's a great time. Right now, the U.S. dollar is very strong.
For the first time in 20 years, $1 U.S. and €1 just equaled the exact same, a result of the war in Ukraine and spiking natural gas prices. Belmead Vacation says exchange rates can put a damper on some dream vacations.
When the British pound was very strong, and you would quote, I have to quote the rates as 500 British pounds a night for a hotel, and that would end up being $750 U.S. And that was an eye-opener.
If you're going on a trip to Europe, it's probably a good idea to pay now for your hotel room versus wait, because the dollar may not be this strong for long. To take advantage of the exchange rate, you may want to turn in your dollars for euros right now, too.
So everybody asks about that, and it's like, no, load up. Nobody knows what currency rates are going to do, but now is an optimum time.
While not every international trip will be cheaper in the end, most domestic trips are more expensive.
Hannah McDonald reporting, despite a slight increase in May, pending home sales in the month of June are down. Pending home sales declined 8.6% from May as escalating mortgage rates and housing prices had a significant impact on potential buyers. Year over year, transactions shrunk by 20%. Pending sales also retreated in all 4 major regions, with the West experiencing the largest monthly decline. In comparison to the previous year, contract signing dropped by double digits in each region. Meanwhile, in the West, pending sales were down by nearly a third. The National Association of Realtors said you can expect to see contract signings for homes continue to drop so long as mortgage rates continue to climb. Well, Sprite has been recognized for decades by its green cans and bottles, but Coca-Cola announced yesterday it is retiring Sprite's green plastic bottles for more environmentally friendly clear ones. Sprite's current plastic contains a green material that's an additive that cannot be recycled, but clear bottles can be recycled into new ones. The change will take effect next month. Other Coke beverages, including Fresca, Seagram's, and Mellow Yellow, will also be replaced with clear containers in the coming months. With those changes, Coke said it's projected to reduce about 20 million pounds of new plastic waste.
Thanks for joining us today at noon.
LEX 18 News at 12:30 is next.
LEX 18, streaming local news 24/7. Search for LEX 18 on your device.
So why do people keep coming to Burke Furniture right here in Lexington? Because Burke has everything you'll need for your home, with a huge selection of bedrooms, dining rooms, recliners, even mattresses. A beautiful home begins at Burke's.
Everclean clog-free gutters.
This is the most important investment you've ever made. And Everclean clog-free gutters are the best way to keep it safe.
We are really proud to offer the Everclean gutter system because we know that it protects people's homes, and that's the truth.
Strong, proven, permanent. Because the Everclean gutter system is a lifetime solution. It never fails. Call for your free estimate today.
Everclean clog-free gutters. Call 259-1133.
When moderate to severe ulcerative colitis persists, put it in check with Rinvoq, a once-daily pill.
When UC got unpredictable, I got rapid symptom relief with Rinvoq. Check.
When UC held me back, I got lasting steroid-free remission with Rinvoq. Check.
And when UC got the upper hand,
Rinvoq helped visibly repair the colon lining. Check. Rapid symptom relief, lasting steroid-free remission, and a chance to visibly repair the colon lining. Check, check, and check.
Rinvoq can lower your ability to fight infections, including TB, serious infections and blood clots, some fatal, cancers, including lymphoma and skin cancer, death, heart attack, stroke, and tears in the stomach or intestines occurred. People 50 and older with at least one heart disease risk factor have higher risks. Don't take if allergic to Rinvoq, as serious reactions can occur. Tell your doctor if you are or may become pregnant.
Put UC in check and keep it there with Rinvoq.
Ask your gastroenterologist about Rinvoq and learn how AbbVie could help you save.
Guys, it's hot outside.
And when your air is on, your money's gone.
Keep the outside outside.
And the inside inside.
With precision engineered windows from the Window Source.
Stay cool this summer.
And stay away from those high utility bills.
You can get a price right now at windowsourceofkentucky.com.
Super efficient windows
that won't break the bank.
Hey, it's me, your skin. Some cleansers get us clean, but take my moisture. CeraVe cleansers help me maintain my moisture balance with hyaluronic acid plus 3 essential ceramides to help restore my natural barrier. So we're CeraVe Clean. CeraVe Hydrating Cleanser.
So why do people keep coming to Burke Furniture right here in Lexington? Because Burke has everything you'll need for your home. With a huge selection of bedrooms, dining rooms, recliners, even mattresses. A beautiful home begins at Burke's.
Count on LEX 18 News.
We're going to take a look at some shocking video coming into our newsroom from several counties across eastern Kentucky. This after heavy rain caused rivers, creeks, and streams to rise, leaving behind lots of damage. We have team coverage from Perry and Breathitt counties as severe flooding is now starting to show the impact on people living in these communities. This is LEX 18 News at 12:30. It starts now. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Dia. Governor Andy Beshear is expected to give us an update on the flood situation in eastern Kentucky at any moment. And when he gets to the podium, we will take you live to Frankfort for the governor and his update. For now, though, we're going to head over to storm tracker meteorologist Tom Ackerman for a look at today's forecast and the possibility of more storms on the way, Tom.
Yeah, the good news is, though, we've got a little buffer there, Dia. We've got a fairly quiet afternoon on the way after that very active round of weather overnight. And, of course, the heavy rain and devastating flooding southeast. This is what it looks like in Lexington. We've still got considerable cloud cover hanging around, but most importantly, the Max Track shows that a lot of the rain has wrapped up. You've still got some lingering showers. Hindman out through Hazard, some of the harder hit areas, southern Breathitt County, even through eastern Owsley County, down through Hyden, and all the way out into Letcher County. Just torrential rainfall overnight. So it's nice to see this clutter around the radar site there, and as well, some showers still persisting into our far eastern counties. Looks like the governor's on. We're going to go ahead and take him live.
Let's get right to Governor Andy Beshear in Frankfort.
For Kentuckians. Among those projects is Heaven Hill's Distillery, which we announced this week, a $135 million investment to reestablish distilling operations in Bardstown after 26 years. I joined company president Max Shapira, and that's their master distiller as well, and local leaders in Nelson County on Monday to celebrate the groundbreaking of this facility and to talk about the big plans and for the first time to see the renderings of what it will look like. The project returns production of Heaven Hill to Bardstown for the first time since a major fire in 1996 destroyed their then distilling operations at the time, destroying 2% of the entire world's bourbon supply. It's a tremendous to see Heaven Hill continue to build its presence in the Commonwealth, and I want to congratulate the company and the Nelson County community as their partnership continues to grow. But that's not the only exciting bourbon-related news we have to share. On Tuesday, we announced leaders at Four Roses Bourbon are investing more than $23 million to expand the company's presence in Bullock County. Anderson County-based Four Roses has a history dating back to the 19th century, including distilling in Kentucky since 1888. Four Roses has produced bourbon in Lawrenceburg since the 1960s, previously operating along Louisville's Whiskey Row for decades. Earlier this week, we announced the company's leaders are investing in new warehouses in Cox's Creek in support of their Lawrenceburg distillery. These warehouses will create job opportunities for residents in Bullock County and build on the company's current in-state employment of about 137 people. Thank you to everybody at Four Roses for continuing to create high-quality jobs in Kentucky and for making products right here in our state. Transition that'll be a tough transition after the general speaks, but the second part is bright and optimistic. I mean, today we're announcing over $700 million in new investments, over 400 new jobs in the Commonwealth. And so today we're going to need to support those that are living through the unimaginable at the moment. And at the same time, celebrate these companies that are investing in us and creating a brighter future for our families. We all have to do this almost on a daily basis right now, pushing through the challenges of inflation and the continued pandemic and so many more things, while at the same time seeing what's right around the corner. So I know we can do this too. Let me start by mentioning that the challenges of the flooding in eastern Kentucky only continue. Everything from power outages increasing to our first set of confirmed deaths. In a word, this event is devastating, and I do believe it will end up being one of the most significant deadly floods that we have had in Kentucky in at least a very long time. There are going to be a lot of people out there that need our help. There's going to be a lot of people that are going to be displaced. And this is yet another disaster that is going to take some time to rebuild. But I want folks, even though there are folks waiting to be rescued right now, to know is we're going to be there for them today. We're going to talk about the resources that are being brought to bear. But we're going to be there for them once they're safe and once they start thinking about what's next as well. So counties that have issued declarations of states of emergencies, these are just the counties that have done it, and we probably don't have them all here. Perry County, Breathitt County, Clay, Floyd, Letcher, Owsley, Pike. I think the city of Hazard has as well. But my state of emergency that I put into effect this morning is statewide. It allows us to go into counties that may not have declared their own, but it lets us bring additional resources to bear. It is one of the ways that we deploy our National Guard and one of the ways that we are allowed to ask Washington, D.C. for additional help. Now, the toughest update this morning is we have our first set of confirmed deaths. There's a report that we have lost a Perry County native, an 81-year-old woman. And we've had at least 2 other fatalities just confirmed, one in Perry County and one in Knott County. But let me say that unfortunately, I expect double-digit deaths in this flooding. That's something that we rarely see. It's going to take time as these come in. And as I'm going to talk about in a little bit, we have more rain tonight in some areas. And we're going to need people to take some steps to keep them safe. Otherwise, even the total that we expect could grow. This isn't just a disaster, it is an ongoing natural disaster. We are in the midst of it, and for some places it's going to continue through tonight. We hope not to continue too far after that, though there are possibilities of rain that continue. Power outages by number in the counties impacted, 25,111. It's anticipated that damage assessment and restoration will continue for several days. Dangerous flooding conditions in inaccessible areas slow the restoration process. So we've got a lot of people that need help that we can't get to at the moment. We will. But we also have different areas that we must reach to turn the power back on that people can't reach. So this is really hard to ask of people going through something like this. But we need a little patience and a little bit of grace because we want to make sure those utility workers are safe doing their job, getting to the places that they need to get to. Kentucky Power has the most customers affected, 22,835. Letcher, Knott, Perry, Pike, Breathitt, Martin, Johnson, Floyd counties all have 1,000 or more customers without power. And if I didn't list any of those counties in the states of emergency, first, they're covered by our overall one. Second, I'm sure that they have issued it. It's just how we get information in to the EOC and report it out. Kentucky Army National Guard Kentucky National Guard in general. We'll hear from General Lamberton here in a minute, but they have 4 aircraft conducting missions in the affected area. It includes reconnaissance, communication, and hoist operations. And I think the General would tell you, I mean, they see a number of people in Breathitt County alone on the roof. Even we have some people in trees hanging on, waiting for rescue. Those folks are working really hard. Our one limitation is how many aircraft have the hoist capabilities. For that reason, today I reached out to West Virginia's governor, and General Lamberton reached out to their adjutant general. They are sending us 2 aircraft with those capabilities, and we are grateful. Also talked to the White House today and mentioned our needs in that area. And let me say, the FEMA administrator contacted me personally. Had just gotten off a plane, and this was the first information that she wanted to get firsthand. We will have a FEMA response team on the ground by tonight in these areas. We appreciate how quickly they're moving. 2 aircrafts are preparing to lift off from Frankfort to Louisville to pick up equipment. What they'll be getting are Zodiac boats. These will augment the fish and wildlife boats that are right now conducting rescues. It will give us more capabilities to help folks both today and tomorrow. I've been over there personally with the National Guard, and everybody I'm going to be talking about, they are working hard. They are working fast. They are being as flexible as they can, and they're bringing every resource they have to bear. Kentucky State Police is responding and actively searching for missing people. I will say that the troopers, though, are also directly affected by this flooding. Also challenges in getting to places that people need help. If you have a missing loved one in the counties of Breathitt, Knott, Letcher, or Perry, please don't call 911. But call the KSP Post. This will help us to check in on them. That number is 606-435-6069. And this is because this post covers these counties. But let me say this again. It's important because we want to make sure your loved one is out there and safe. And what we found out in the tornadoes is sometimes we had assumed the worst. But then we got the miracle that we prayed for, and we're able to account for people. So if you are in Breathitt, Knott, Letcher, or Perry, and you can't find a loved one, you believe they're missing, call 606-435-6069. And if it's busy, keep calling. I hate to ask you to do that, but they're getting a lot of calls because of what they do and the amount of damage that is out here. No matter how long it takes you to get through, we need the name of your loved one and that information. So please get that to KSP. A command staging area has been established at the Hazard Armory for emergency personnel only. Public should not travel to the affected areas until emergency personnel gives the all clear. I also want to give a big thank you to our Deputy Fire Chief in Lexington, who is also a part-time general in the National Guard. Through his leadership, we're deploying more boats out of Lexington, Fayette County to help. He's over there in the EOC with everybody. Kentucky Transportation Cabinet, Knott and Letcher counties have been hit hard. Pike, Martin, and Floyd counties are also sending reports of slides and high waters. Extreme historic levels of flooding has been reported in northern Perry County and southern Breathitt County. Crews are assessing the impacts and are faced with challenges. They got downed trees. They got mudslides. And they've got staff that are flooded themselves that are trying to get to safety, which impacts the number of people that we can have out there. For instance, our Letcher County maintenance facility is flooded, and crews can't even access some of their equipment. Crews are trying to help reopen roads where possible to help emergency responders access areas. So we're sending lots of folks outside of this area into this area. For those that live in the area that are responding right now, please tell those folks thank you, because they are victims just like everybody else in this area. They very well could have lost their home and are out there helping out somebody else. who has lost their home. So please think about those folks. We're also seeing widespread water outages. This can occur because of a loss of power, for instance, in Martin County. We think that's going to get up and running. That's a piece of good news. But this can also cause a lot of water breaks. Think about the amount of water moving through the sewer or the pressure that the flood can cause. So the London Oneida area has 300 to 400 customers affected. Manchester Waterworks need the floodwaters to recede in order to work on leaks. At this time, the road to the plant is blocked, and workers had to walk to deal with the muddy water in the lake. A boil water advisory will be issued once they are able to get further information. From Hyde and Leslie County Water District, the northern end of London is affected, but progress is being held up by access again and communication issues. We have very spotty cell service. There are at least two of our major companies, I believe it's both AT&T and Verizon, that we are in direct contact with that are trying to deploy their assets. Remember, they got to be able to get to somewhere safely, though, too, to ultimately deploy that. Boonville Water and Sewer advises around 70 customers are out of water in areas fed by Buffalo Creek and Hooflery tanks. Outages are due to power outages and leaks, but they're still assessing that situation. Jackson Municipal Waterworks plant is experiencing issues due to flooding at intake. Plant controls possibly damaged due to lighting. Plants operating at decreased capacity. System-wide boil water advisory issued at this time. Operators unable to assess damage due to high water. And then the Whitesburg water system in Letcher County, the river's over their raw water pump control panel. The plant is shut down and cannot be started until the floodwaters drop. They cannot get to the plant safely at this time. They're not aware of any other damage. They will have access using a boat. So let's have one piece of good news. Martin County, I was over at the EOC when their plant went down. We were talking about getting them a generator. Their water should be restored by 1 p.m. Eastern Time. I think they've been able to get their power up and back on. So, a lot of widespread damage. I think we're going to have a number of deaths. Roads completely washed out. Homes destroyed. Schools flooded. Buildings that are, at least in the short term, going to be uninhabitable. So we want to make sure people know where they can go, where we can provide you ultimately a dry place. So anyone who's been displaced, 3 state parks have been open to receive you, even though they are having their own impacts. They're Jenny Riley State Park in Prestonsburg, Pine Mountain State Park in Pineville, and Buckhorn State Park in Buckhorn. Now, each of these counties are also setting up different shelters. We're going to put out a list of those because those are places that are going to need water and cleaning supplies. And later today, and we have this in the notes, we'll be launching a Team Eastern Kentucky Flooding Relief Fund. These families are going to need help, much like our families in Western Kentucky. They are also going through one of the worst disasters of this type that we have seen. So the Department for Medicaid Services is working with our contracted managed care organizations and Medi-Impact to ensure members impacted by the Eastern Kentucky flooding will have access to medications. I was also working directly with our Department of Public Health today. They are monitoring and working with senior homes, with nursing homes, to make sure we have plans in place if they have to be evacuated to be able to do it safely. They are also in charge of tracking deaths for this. We have a representative from the Coroners Association that's with us directly in the EOC feeding us information. Toughest news that I have for today is there is a chance for maybe another 2 to 3 inches tonight and maybe through the weekend. We got light rain now scattered through this afternoon. It looks like most of the rain is going to come overnight, and that can be really dangerous. Right now, and this can change, the predicted area includes McGoffin, Pike, Powell, Wolf, Johnson, Floyd, Martin. It could reach Laurel, Clay, Leslie. Listen, they could get a lot. So, folks, if the water is close to your house, if you are in a place that floods regularly or with a lot of rain might flood, the ground is really saturated. If you're in these areas or even close to them, and you can go stay with somebody else tonight, please do. Last night, most likely, we lost people in the middle of the night, maybe even in their sleep. We want you to be safe. And so if you're in these areas and you got family or friends or anybody, you got to go stay in a hotel somewhere throughout the night that you know will be safe, please do it. Again, I already think we're going to have double-digit deaths in this, and I don't want to lose anybody else. And so anybody else out there who's listening, whose family are in these areas, call them, right? Offer to put them up tonight if they can get to you. For those that are in areas that are fine, good. But again, if you think that you're facing danger, please take that action. We care about you, and we know that this is coming. All right, a couple of other tips in dealing with flooding. Watch your step. Floodwaters often hide sharp and dangerous debris like broken glass and metal. Floodwater can also be contaminated with oil, gasoline, and sewage. Second, don't drive through big amounts of standing water, especially in running water, which is what we're seeing right now. We believe we may have had a major truck, maybe even a tractor trailer, swept away, that we might have lost 2 people in. We're waiting on confirmation of that. Don't risk that, right? Your life is way too important. Your family is way too important. Wear appropriate protective clothing and gear such as boots, gloves, and safety glasses when moving debris. Remember, with more rain tonight, we can replace stuff. We can't replace you. Stay away from electrical utility equipment after a storm or if it's wet. Report any utility issues to your utility company. Flooded homes are dangerous. Get a professional to check for loose wires, mold, and hidden damage before re-entering. Use generators or other gas-powered machinery only outdoors. I can't tell you how many storms that we have had that everybody is going to make it through, especially ice storms, and then somebody puts a generator in their attached garage or in their house or too close to their house, and we lose them through carbon monoxide poisoning. Let's make sure that doesn't happen. Again, never drive into a road covered by flowing water. 1 foot of flowing water can sweep a car off a road. 2, an SUV or a pickup. 6 inches of water can knock you off your feet. So don't do it. Don't drown. Respect barricades and posted signage. If you encounter a flooded road, turn around. If you encounter a dark traffic signal, treat it as a 4-way stop. All right, we are really only about 13 hours into when the rain really started pouring down, but we wanted to take an important step. Kentuckians are tough, resilient, good people who look out for one another. And what we saw in response to the tornadoes in western Kentucky was pure love. We want to make sure we're doing the same for the people of eastern Kentucky. So today we're giving everyone an opportunity to help our brothers and sisters in eastern Kentucky by setting up the Team Eastern Kentucky Flood Relief Fund. The website for donations is under construction. We expect to have it up at 4 p.m. today. The URL, when it is ready, will be teamekywfloodrelief.ky.gov. That is teamekywfloodrelieffund.ky.gov. Donations can be made through the online portal, and there'll be additional instructions on the website. Again, this will be a fund that will be spent entirely to help the families that are impacted, and it will not just be the immediate relief fund. We already have the Red Cross in our EOC. I called their CEO and talked to them this morning. We'll have other folks like the United Way that are there. When we set up this fund, it's about the next year plus it's going to take to get these families back on their feet. And just like the Team Western Kentucky Tornado Relief Fund, we will be transparent. We can show you how every dollar is allocated, and all of them have gone to make a difference. The money is not going to be used for administrative costs, though credit card processing fees may apply. I know people are seeing the pictures, are seeing the videos, and they are gut-wrenching. They're hard to watch. And I wish I could tell you why we keep getting hit here in Kentucky. I wish I could tell you why areas where people may not have that much continue to get hit and lose everything. I can't give you the why, but I know what we do in response to it. And the answer is everything we can. These are our people. Let's make sure we help them out. All right, I'm going to turn it over to General Lamberton for an update on Guard activities, and then we're going to make that very big transition, and I know it will be big, talk about some really exciting economic development. We can face our challenges today. We can mourn for those that we have lost. We can be there for those that need our help, while at the same time continuing to build a bright future for Kentucky. General?
Thanks, sir. Good afternoon, everybody. As the governor shared just a little bit ago, this is a rapidly evolving situation. We're tracking more rain that's on the horizon in the impacted area right now. And I share that in particular, what we're striving to do is get ahead of this. So what the governor and I speaking is provide more resources, not just waiting until there's an incident or an event that requires some sort of response to it, but pushing resources to the impacted area that we can be even more responsive than we currently are. The governor had alluded to the aircraft that we've currently got working in the area, but we've got 3 UH-60 Blackhawks who are hoist capable, meaning they are actively engaged with picking up people off of the rooftops, with extracting people from one school system in particular where folks have been trapped due to the situation. The governor also alluded to his having been in contact with the West Virginia governor. We've been in contact with the National Guard out in West Virginia. They likewise are providing 2 additional helicopters, also with hoist capability. We've also been in contact with the Adjutant General out of Tennessee. They are also providing helicopters with hoist capability. Is this just meeting to the need that we're tracking right now? No, it's striving to get ahead of what we anticipate the need. We've got eyes on the impacted area, especially in Breathitt County and around Jackson. What we're striving to do is get greater awareness of the impacted area for all the surrounding counties, that again, we can get ahead as far as the resources required with that response. The governor had also made mention, we've got what we call Zodiac Boats. This is an inflatable, rigid boat that's often used in swift water response and rescue efforts. The Department of Fish and Wildlife, they've got some of their boats and crews currently engaged with it. We're going to augment their efforts. We're bringing folks down from the air wing that's based out of Louisville right now. And if you look up over you might see that those are going to be airlifted underneath our helicopters. And they're flying down there to enable them to get into the impacted area as quickly as possible, along with the crews that are going to man those boats. So as I just said, we're striving to get as much in the way of resources to the impact area, get ahead of the situation. We do anticipate the response continuing for several days. As the governor also identified, we have additional assets coming in from FEMA. They're going to work in our emergency operations center and augment to the folks who are there. So we have not just an all-of-state government response, but we've got governmental response from our neighboring states, from our brothers and sisters in the adjacent National Guard states, from other organizations that are even beyond the Commonwealth's borders. And once again, I know I'm being redundant, but this is to get ahead of it resource-wise, that we have the capability of addressing whatever the situation on the ground warrants right now, but also being ahead of that situation for the next 24, 48 plus hours. Thanks, sir.
Unintentionally omitted Fish and Wildlife, who are doing a phenomenal job. I mean, they've got as many boats as they have. They're bringing others from other places, working with them directly in the EOC. They're going to rescue a lot of people. All right, now it's making that tough transition. Listen, if you're in one of these areas right now and you tuned in for information, it's okay to turn it off. We're going to talk about some other things. If you're really focused on this, and you should be, it's okay to ultimately stop watching now. But as the governor of the Commonwealth of Kentucky, I also have to make sure that while we are being there for our people in an emergency, we're also continuing to build the future. And today, through our Kentucky Development Finance Authority announcements, we approved projects totaling $720 million in private sector investment that are going to...
You have been watching Governor Andy Beshear's update on the flooding response in eastern Kentucky. Let's do a little bit of a recap for you, where the governor is in Frankfort, of course, recapping and talking about how homes and schools have just been devastated in the eastern part of our state. Roads have been simply washed out. He did report, as of noontime, three actual individuals have been reported dead, 2 in Perry County, 1 in Knott County. He believes that fatality numbers will move into the double digits. Also, he encourages anyone who knows of someone in Breathitt, Knott, Perry, and other surrounding counties that you have not been able to get in touch with, to give those names to the KSP. The number that he gave was 606-435-6069. We'll have that, of course, on our website as well. Over 25,000 people still remain without power. Crews are working around the clock trying to restore power. He said also to be on the alert due to the forecast of more rain and thunderstorms, with an additional 2 to 3 inches of rain that will be added on to the 9 inches of rain plus that is just submerging that area. The National Guard commander said that 4 aircraft are now in that area doing reconnaissance, trying to cherry pick individuals off of rooftops and out of trees. He even, alluded to the fact that there are people who are still trapped in their homes, medically fragile individuals as well. Fayette County's fire sent in vessels as well to help with this. Water issues are abounding, as we know. Sewer issues are abounding in all these areas. If you are in those areas, err on the side of caution. Boil your water at least for 5 minutes. He did give some good news, saying that Martin County water should be up and used at 1 p.m. State parks also available for shelter. And the cabinet is working with Medicare to help ensure that seniors and those who are disabled have all of the services and medicines that they need. We're going to continue to follow this for you here on air and online at lex18.com. We're going to return you now to regular programming.